We're here with Elise Davis, who just got top 32 at YCS Minneapolis. What'd you play?
I played Tier Danger.
Yeah.
Want me to do shoutouts or deck first?
Whichever you prefer.
Alright, we'll just quick do shoutouts. First shout goes to Cody Angeloff, who's about to go on this feature match over here.
Where's he at? There he is.
I don't know, he's somewhere. But shout out to Cody. He literally made the entire list, and I just copied his homework. He spent a lot of time testing and playing and refining everything, and I really appreciate him letting me copy his homework. It was a really good deck. I really enjoyed it, and we'll get into more of why it's good in a little bit. But quick other shout outs. Shout out to my sponsor, Fitting Accessories. Use code FITTING, 5% off your entire purchase. Shout out to all the people who lend me cards. My hometown locals, TGG Gaming, who also vended, and just great homies. Shout out Hender for getting me stuff I needed. And then shout out to Pack for letting me ulti super polys. And then my other buddies, Lang, Kyle, and Alan for helping me get the cards I needed for the event from the new set. And then shout out to Jib, who also helped me test for this event, but knocked me out of Top Cut. Fuck you, Jib. But he helped me a lot too, just learning what I should be experiencing for the format. And then shout out to the head judge, Richard Simpson, at the Lucky Field Center here. Carried me into Top Cut, so, you know, shout out to him. And then shout out to my girlfriend, Brooke, for being amazing, as always. And she judged this event and is having a pretty good time judging Giant Card right now, so that's cool. And then shout out to Lund for always being good support, but then shout out to Celestial Cards and Accessories, Ethan Swarton, for always being good sponsor as well. But let's just get into it. Play 12 tier names. Weird. Don't know why you would ever do this, but yeah.
Very, very, very surprising that you played 12.
Yeah, weird. And then play the Danger Engine. It's pretty small. It's a 3 Nessie, 1 Jackalope, 1 Tsuchinoko, and 1 Bigfoot. So it's pretty small, but it's mainly just because, like, with the new cards from Darkwing Blast, you have a lot more things that are better to hit off dangers, and there's a lot more synergy and just getting your extension pieces to, like, end on a bigger, better board with, like, having both trap cards set. So they really help facilitate that. There's no Mothman or anything because, like, they're kind of not great, but we do play another really good 4, which is Night Sword Serpent. When it's integrated by card effect, you just summon it back, and it is conveniently a water. So you can
and a level 4. That's kind of broke.
You make Bahamut, and that's pretty good. There are no other monsters in my main deck, and I will go after, or explain why in just a minute when we get to the board breakers. But spells, play the 3 planet and the 1 terraforming, obviously. Then 3 Scream and 1 Heartbeat.
Oh, wow.
There's people who do not play this at 3. I don't understand them. This card is just so insane. I want to see it in every one of my opening hands, and, like, if you open multiple, it's fine because you can send it off Rhino to summon itself back, and then, like, just search a trap card for free, and then just the amount of things it does on your opponent's turn too. I think there's just too many multifaceted uses to where that card isn't insane. And the 1 Heartbeat, it's mainly just so you can add back a trap if you, like, send it, because if you send the Solic, you can just add back the Solic, and then you can focus on adding the crime later on. So it's pretty nice. The effect to shuffle back stuff, like the actual hard activation effect, has only come up like once or twice, but it's still nice. Gives you a mine out, so can't complain. And then for board breakers, it got 3 Super Poly and 3 Dark Ruler. So as you saw, there are no Bistal cards on my deck, no other hand traps, and it's a straight 40 card list. So when you're not really able to play much defensive cards or anything, you kind of want to go with, like, the big boys. And Super Poly is the only thing that outs, like, Dweller right now, and Dark Ruler just beats every other deck. And your deck is just, like, consistent enough, and usually, like, Tier is just insane if it's able to play. So this is kind of all you need. And, like, the Bistal cards, the problem with them is, like, unless you have 2, I don't think they really impact Tier as much as you'd like them to, unless they open, like, really, really, really bad, which then it's just, like, that sucks. But otherwise, it's just, like, they're subpar extenders, which makes your boards overall weaker, so you kind of have to be a bit more passive with Bistals than I'd like to be. So this deck just let you be a bit more aggressive, and only playing these felt really good. For the rest of the spells, 1 Instant, 1 Foolish, 1 Called By, 1 Upstart. Cody.
Upstart, 39 cards.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Cody, whenever he gets a chance, will play Upstart, but there's no other card that need to be in the deck, so it's fine. And double Solic and 1 Crime. Yeah, because you play Scream, Crime is more accessible in the main deck now, and especially with Bistals, like, sending this isn't even that bad, and then you can just add it back off Heartbeat. So there's a lot of awesome things with, like, playing all these and, like, even going second, Crime is fine because like you break their board and establish something, and then Crime just locks them out afterwards. So that's it for the main deck. 40 cards. And for extra deck, we got the one Kit Kalos. There's only room for one because every other slot in the extra deck just came up, and you usually cycle back your Kalos anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. It's come up once or twice where I would have liked the second, but it wasn't necessary as long as you like know how to do your lines properly. But it felt fine, but I kind of wish we had the room for a second, but it's just couldn't fit it. And then one Rue Kalos and the one Cloud of Heart. These cards are amazing. And then other fusions, Garura, Mudragon, and Dragospellia, pretty standard. Then we got the one Elf, one Sprind, one Dark, Curious, Apo, and Underworld Goddess. So, Curious is like not really as accessible if you're playing like Bistal cards in your deck. So, like in this version, we're able to play it easier because we have dangers. So it becomes like a lot better, and I think it just overall is like really nice to have it be more easily accessible. And then if you're gonna play Curious, you should play Apo. And then Underworld Goddess, like you don't really have other ways to like out problematic things very easily, so it's nice to have that as like the backup thing. And it's really easy to like flood the board, make this, and then still have like a couple summons to like be able to kill them. So it's really nice to have. And then for the XYZs, play one Dweller, weird, and then Bahamut Toad. Toad becomes even better in this deck now because Rue Kalos has the protection for battle, so it protects your Toad a lot easier and just makes things like a lot better in the long run. And just, I think making this, like I made this blind every time if I had like the resources to, which I usually did. I think just Toad's better blind overall than Dweller, just because like, unless we're in like a tier 0 tier format, which is in 2 weeks. Same thing with the Bistals too, is like, they're weak when tier isn't overwhelming. And I think tier was really good, and a lot of the tier players, or good tier players, topped with the deck, but like, I don't think like blind Dwellering or blind Bistaling is like always the right choice because there's still enough variation of the format. So anyways, we'll go to the side deck. 2 Sphere Mode. I wish I could play the third. It was either third of this or third of mine, and I wish it was this. Oops. And the one Skull Mark, time, weird. And then 3 Mystic Mine. Shout out to the people in the feature match who cheered when I activated this card and then lost. But every time I activated this card, I lost that game. Like, it's fine in theory, especially, you know, when you're considering the other choices that have been made in the deck list overall, but it unfortunately just doesn't work out. But I don't know, it's still like worth it because it still at least lets you attempt to be in the game or whatever. And double Cosmic, 1 Duster, and 3 Evenly. This was originally the third Cosmic, but just having the blowout's really nice to have. And then Evenly is good against everything. And then for the last card, we wanted some sort of Floodgate, and because we don't play Bistals and other things are just weird, Skill Drain made the most sense because the main deck is already curated enough for the mirror going first, so you want something for every other matchup, and this probably deals with every other matchup the best. So it's really easy to clear in your deck, and like you can play around it very well, so it's really nice to have. And I think it worked out really well. So yeah, that is it for the deck list.
Word. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yep, bye.